sex, 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 sex.
And finally, on our show today, a little man-to-man talk. Ladies, you're welcome to eavesdrop, but...
I guess I just find the male mind to be somewhat disturbing.
Well, that's your problem. I've known a few men over the years who work really hard to find a really hot woman to marry. And then they succeed. They spend years learning to attract the kind of woman that every man wants. And then they spend all of their time with that woman fretting that every man wants her. Fellas, that's no way to live. First off, the obsessive thought pattern often materializes the thing you most fear. The solution is simple, in theory anyway. The same behavior that attracted her needs to continue long after you've got her. Actually, for the rest of your time together. More on that presently. But first, who am I?
Yeah, who the hell are you anyways?
And who am I to give advice to married people? I've never been married. Well, first of all, I'm talking to men here. All men are qualified to discuss with each other the ebbs and flows of our relationships with women, regardless of our marital status. You see, women are the ones who obsess over getting married, like it's the promised land, a final destination, a war they have won. Most men, on the other hand, see marriage as a concession. All right, I'll marry you. Just don't make me give up my music or bowling or whatever his greatest passion is. I have been studying and writing about matters of sex and romance for many years, and I can assure you that only women ever question my insight in these matters on the simplistic basis that I have never been legally married. But back to the question of who am I? I'm the guy that jealous husbands often think they're too hot to touch wives they're carrying on with, and frankly, I'm tired of it. Apparently, these husbands think that show business, which is my passion, is a 24-hour party. Yes, those of us who are unbridled by family responsibilities often go out after classes, rehearsals, and performances. But the married people rarely join us without their spouses. When we're working, we're working. There's no time for hanky-panky. And if there were, there are always enough cock-blocking queens around, including the lesbians, to prevent many collisions. 99 times out of 100, the problem and the solution is in the mind of the husband. People in the performing arts frown on marital infidelity just as much as any other segment of society. But I call this whole jealousy syndrome that I've witnessed so many times over the years,
The curse of the hottie.
I've worked around models and actresses all of my adult life. And after a while, for my own protection, I simply began viewing them as scenery, like a parking lot full of Ferraris. A man only ever really needs one. And the vast majority of these women are not nearly as fast as their window stickers promise. They don't have to be. Yet, time and again, I've seen these ladies' marriages crumble because their husbands became impossibly controlling and possessive. Here are a few typical scenarios. The husband gives his wife the silent treatment when she gets home from a class rehearsal or performance. Or worse, he asks her a million questions and finds multiple ways of berating everyone involved. He either refuses to come to the performance, or he shows up drunk and picks a fight with one of the male performers, hurling, along with fists, homophobic insults. These women are left wondering what happened to the fun, confident man that they married. I've heard 100 different variations of, he didn't used to be this way.
Break the curse.
Gentlemen, I know what it's like to be with a hot woman who's out of control. I know what it's like to be driven bananas by jealousy. The supreme lesson from my own heartache over beautiful bad girls is that no amount of fretting on my part could stop them from sleeping around. So how do you break this curse? If you're married to the kind of woman that other women envy and other men want, then chances are out of all the men she could have chosen, she chose you for very good reasons.
Step 1.
I have a guaranteed action plan for breaking this curse, cultivated during my own youthful, heartbreaking, hot, stinky messes, as well as my own coaching work. And the first step is to keep your sense of humor. Your wife probably would not have married you if you didn't make her laugh on a regular basis. The reason women are drawn to guys with a strong sense of humor is that it denotes confidence and strength. The ability to inspire laughter is in some ways more powerful than money. Given the choice between a rich, cranky bastard and an entertaining gentleman of modest means, most women, including bimbos, will marry the latter. A rich man with bad people skills is Citizen Kane, whereas A man who retains his confidence and sense of humor through good times and bad is Rhett Butler.
Step 2.
The next step is don't hate her because she's beautiful to other men. Stop punishing her for being desirable to other men. Let her have male friends. Haven't you ever had female friends that you didn't sleep with? Now, your answer to that question may very well be none that I didn't try to sleep with. Well, that's okay. My point here is that it's completely normal and healthy for men and women both to feel gut-level attraction for varieties of people every day of their lives. No amount of jealousy and punishment on your part will ever change that dynamic. If you have a hot wife, then most of the men that she encounters every day of her life will feel attracted to her. Some will flirt with her, sometimes right in front of you. Because she's human, she too will find herself attracted to other men, and perhaps women.
Step 3.
The next step, pass the test. She will drool over celebrities. She will tell you stories about hot guys with whom she works. Worse yet, she will flirt with people right in front of you. Hot women are notorious for this. They know that they're hot. Even after, or especially after, being married to the same guy for years, they still enjoy the ego boost of being desirable to others, just as you might enjoy being desired by other hot women. Women are hardwired to test men for their womb worthiness, just as we are hardwired to get them naked as soon as possible. If you keep your cool, perhaps you find her little challenges slightly annoying, but mostly cute, then you pass the test. If, on the other hand, you become hysterical, you fail the test. Think back to when you were dating her. Did she always return your phone calls? Probably not. Did she sometimes flirt with other men in your presence? She probably did. A little jealousy on your part back then was probably a good thing. It demonstrated your desire for her, and it probably triggered her arousal mechanism. But if you had gotten insanely jealous and possessive, she most likely would have gone out the back door of the bar.
Step 4.
The next step, fellas, is to keep dating her. I'm not talking here about roses and anniversaries. I'm talking about the daily power struggles that started the moment you met your bride-to-be. How did you treat her when you were dating? Chances are you showed just the right amount of ambivalence and adoration. This is a potent combination for just about any woman. It's a fine mixture, unique to every successful relationship, of devil-may-care with knight in shining armor. In simple terms, you wanted her, but you didn't need her. Here's what probably happened when she fell for you. She saw you as a man that exuded power and influence over his peers, as well as the ability to come to her rescue when she felt threatened by outside forces. She recognized the potential for years of adventure by attaching herself to you. She was drawn to your vision and to the possibility of contributing to that vision because you were the master of an exciting universe. The problem with habitual jealousy is that it displays weakness, which is kryptonite to female arousal. Many men cripple themselves and unfortunately destroy good relationships by deriving most of their self-esteem and well-being from their status as the husband of a hot wife. The way out of this cauldron of fear is to follow your bliss, regardless of who your wife is and what she does.
Step 5.
And that brings us to the final and perhaps most important step in breaking
The curse of the hottie.
and that is pursue your mission. Perhaps the most powerful thing you can do to keep your woman attracted to you is to stay engaged in accomplishing your life goals. Don't let her shenanigans distract you from your calling in life. What is your passion? This may or may not be the same as your job. What turns you on besides sex? What activities make you forget about time? If you don't already know the answers to these questions, dig deeply into your past. There must have been times in your life when you were so absorbed by the pleasure of certain activities that hours went by unnoticed and you were forced to call it a day only because of other time constraints or because you couldn't physically go on without food and rest. You displayed great skill and enthusiasm while engaged in these activities. Others were impressed by your unique abilities. These are clues as to your God-given purpose in life. It might be sports or business or science or music or philosophy or travel. You might have strayed from exercising these talents because of the demands of daily existence. Ideally, as men, we find ways of making a living through our missions. But that isn't always possible. Regardless, we must continue to pursue these tasks or else we die spiritually. And our attractiveness to women, to the right women, dies as well. Likewise, ideally, we marry women who are passionate about our passions. But looking at hot women is like looking into the sun. It sometimes blinds us to selfish little girls who never grew up. These types don't give a damn about our missions. They only care that we make enough money to sponsor their hedonism. These women are poison. Assuming you married wisely? Then congratulations. You have the best of both worlds. A hot woman who inspires you to be a better man. Not just because she gives you good loving, but because she believes in you. So, gentlemen, these are the takeaways to our little talk today. Use these 5 tools to break this syndrome, this curse. 1. Keep your sense of humor. 2. Don't hate her because she's beautiful to other men. 3. Pass the test. 4. Keep dating her. And 5. Pursue your mission. And enjoy many happy years with the woman of your dreams.